And we are back for our favorite part of the day. I figure we'll share that with you. We said it prior to hitting go and record, but we'll share that with you. We'll let y'all know that's our favorite part of the day. We love y'all to peace. Thank you so much for tapping in. I'm doing all right. Bryan Broaddus is doing just fine also. And we're getting into this routine. We're getting the hang of things. It's typically how this is gonna go. We're gonna do some recaps on Sunday and Monday. Okay, we're gonna talk about some film Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday we'll be doing previews, offense first, then defense. But it seems like Fridays are gonna be a day that we ask some hard hitting questions there. So
there you go.
Bryan got 5 and I got 4. We're gonna let him go first. I'll go second, and we'll go back and forth, beating each other upside the head with difficulty and rigorous question asking. Bryan Broaddus, go ahead, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. As always, it's great to be with everybody out there and as with yourself, sir. Voch, the Cowboys are going to have more rushes in this game than pass attempts.
I don't think the Cowboys could ever do that. I don't think that's in their offensive play call wheelhouse, Bryan Broaddus. But I'll tell you what, I take that back, because what if it's a blowout? What if Dak Prescott throws the ball 20 times? Zeke gets like 9 carries. Rico Dowdle get like 6. That's 15 right there. CD get 3. Turpin get 2. Like, yeah, Hunter Lipke get a couple of them. I can see that being a thing. In close games, I don't think that'll be the case. I think at the end of the day, I think Mike McCarthy's going to lean on what he knows, and he knows throwing the football. That's what makes him comfortable. We've seen Mike McCarthy get nervous and go right back to what he knows, slant flats. So, hey man, I don't no. But if we rush the ball more, Bryan, that would make me feel like we're rushing the ball better. So I would feel good about that if we're rushing the ball more. Mm-hmm. The question is, will we? I think the answer is no. But does Voch want to see more rush attempts? Hell yeah, because when we can't run the football, we stop running the football. So yeah, I would love for our rushing attempts to go up.
See, the thing about it was, I was kind of going down the line. If somehow you were able to grab a lead, mm-hmm. and you got into a mode where Dak, CD, everybody was kind of feeding early, the Saints were in a little trouble, and now it turns into, okay, Dak is going to throw the ball 25 times, and you were going to find a way to run the ball 27 times. One of those kind of things. But that's kind of – I totally agree with you. I don't know if it's in Mike McCarthy's DNA to have more rushing attempts than to have passing attempts. I always kind of felt like a perfect Dak Prescott day was 23 for 25 for 262 yards and 3 touchdowns. That always seemed like to me, if you looked at Dak Prescott's line and it was that, the Cowboys probably won a football game. But there's been times a lot here lately where Dak Prescott's thrown the ball a lot more. But I would like to see a game. Maybe this is the one. I really like what you did on your breakdown yesterday. We were talking about the Saints defense, and you kind of felt like that inside, that maybe there could be some advantages for the Cowboys with their center and their 2 guards. And, if you could get some guys on those linebackers and, you get the backs going a little bit, it would be nice to see. But I'm with you. I'd love to see it. I don't think we'll see it, but I'd love to see it be real close if they had an opportunity. I hate it when they get really out of whack.
Sure.
Hey, win the game, number one, but man, I'd love to see a really good, just as many rushes as I would passes. That, to me, if there's as many rushes as are passes, you're probably going to win this football game, or you've got the game in hand, is what I would say. Yeah.
This isn't one of my questions, Bryan, but do you think that the powers that be would ever put Dak on a Tony Romo type program or whatever, where we go get this stud young running back and pound him into the ground, and Dak is only responsible for 25 attempts a game?
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I think, to me, you're paying him like he needs to pay. And I don't want to focus on pay, but I'm sure everybody's out there is like, I think overall it would be better for Dak Prescott if he had something that he could lean on. If he can lean on his talent. He can lean on Lamb. He could lean on Ferguson. But, I mean, they're probably not going to have Ferguson this weekend, but going forward, you could probably lean on those guys. Dak could. But, man, I'd love it to have where you get a back that's, like what Alvin Kamara did last week against Carolina. Number of carries, get close to 100 yards. That would take so much pressure off Dak Prescott to have to play that way. And I would love to see. I don't know, man. At one time, I thought this team loved running backs, and now I don't think they love running backs as much as they once loved running backs.
Sure,
I think it's changed. I think the cap has changed their thinking about running backs. That let's spend on the receiver, let's spend on the quarterback, let's spend on the offensive line. The hell with the running back. We'll see if they're going to spend on this tight end. That's the next trick. Will they spend on this tight end? And my gut feeling is probably not.
I don't think they're going to pay the tight end because they're going to have to pay the left guard. That's
the trade off. Yeah, I think you're right about that.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, I was watching film, man. I say, man, boy, that's a special performance from that young cowboy right there. Man, if I had a magic lamp or something, which of these young cowboys could I guarantee a repeat performance? Overshown leading the team in tackles, or Kevontae Turpin scoring a touchdown on teams. If you had to repeat a performance from one of these young Cowboys, you had to guarantee a repeated performance. Would it be Overshown leading the team in tackles again, or would it be Kevontae Turpin gifting your offense an extra touchdown on teams?
It's a really good one.
I know, Bryan Broaddus. I know. You gotta tell me. I know.
You do that to buy yourself some time. You always say, "Hey, that's a good question."
So while you're buying yourself time, Bryan Broaddus,
I got this one.
Sure.
Give me Overshown. I think when it's all said and done, I think the Saints' offensive line is going to be compromised a little bit. Now, the questions I have are, how committed will the Saints be to running the ball? We'll see. It depends on how they get it going. And if they struggle running the football early, it's probably because Overshown and Kendricks and those guys up front have probably done their jobs. And if that's the case, then it turns into, pressures and, ball being thrown out in the flat. If, the one thing we know about the Saints is they probably want to get the ball out of this guy's hands as quickly as possible.
Sure.
And, but he's played, man, if you look at the last 6-7 weeks, going back to last year and week 1 this year, this guy's got some pretty darn good metrics throwing the football. He really has.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that you're probably going to get Overshown with the tackles again. I just think every week we're going to be talking about him right at or at double-digit tackles. As long as his health is there, the ability to run, the ability to close, the ability to finish, the ability to wrap up and get guys on the ground, he's going to get to a lot of plays. I was watching the Saints on special teams, and I was thinking there might be a chance for a kickoff return here.
Sure.
I was thinking, but I'm going to say Overshown at tackles.
Man, you got 18 points from your team's units.
Special teams sure did.
You know what I'm saying? Wait, Aubrey got 15 and Turpin got 6. So you got 21 points from your team. Bryan, that's nice, man. That's nice. And I think, because look, me writing this question, I felt like I was going to go Overshown. I felt like if you can have Overshown and Kendricks both be special linebackers for you, that's something that we haven't had. If you can have both those guys being like special linebackers for you, I think that'll just be phenomenal moving forward, Bryan. But, man, I just think it's something you're going to need it when you go to like San Francisco, man.
Yeah. You're going to need to play
extra points.
They're the extra points and all that. I'll tell you what's interesting. This might be an opportunity where your linebackers, if you go to San Francisco, everybody stays healthy, you might actually be on par with what San Francisco's linebackers kill you every time that you play them.
Yeah.
You go back and you can talk about all the offensive weapons and stuff. Every time it's that Greenlaw, it's
Warner.
They just play. I mean, Warner, they just play. I mean, they just kill you. And this might be the first time you go there and you might be even or near where they're at.
Sure.
All right, Voch, here's one for you. The Saints are going to have more trouble with Micah Parsons or CeeDee Lamb. Saints are going to have more trouble with Micah Parsons or CeeDee Lamb.
If Mike Zimmer does his job, in which I have faith that he will, I'm trying to find Penning. I'm looking for Ruiz. And if Fuaga's not healthy, whoever the hell playing left tackle, we go find them. You know?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's ways you could take away CeeDee Lamb. You know what I mean? Like it may not be smart doing it. Like, yeah, you can leave some guys kind of open, and the Ferguson's not playing. That's half the battle for them. Yeah. You can find a way to take Lamb out of a game. It may not help you with Brandon Cooks being good or, somebody else, benefiting from that. But I do think you can take away CeeDee Lamb. The only person that can take away Micah Parsons is us. Is either coaching or Micah Parsons. That's the only thing that can take Micah Parsons away from the game. Trevor Penning ain't gonna do it. Ruiz is not gonna do it. If Fuaga's not playing the backup, Fuaga ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? So we may have criticism about Micah in week 17 or something like that, but we ain't never had a problem with Micah Parsons in week 2. Micah Parsons in week 2 is as Teflon as it gets. If anything, Lamb gets better the more the season goes on. So I think, just me personally, I feel like Micah Parsons is the harder guy to take away. And another point that I'm saying, it comes back down to Zimmer. I played the clip for me, you, and Foots when we did our show. Is Zimmer understands that teams are chipping Micah, and apparently Zimmer don't like it. I don't want to speak about no other administration, but it's almost like we had to live with the idea that Micah was getting double teamed, he was getting chip blocking, he was getting cut blocking, all this kind of stuff. It seems like Michael Antoine Zimmer doesn't want that to be a thing. So if he's going to move Michael around and use him to our best advantage, I can't help but to believe that Michael Parsons is going to be unstoppable. And last week he was. The only person that stopped Michael Parsons last year was Michael Parsons. Well, last week was Michael Parsons, wrapping up, Watson and stuff like that, or overrunning somebody. So I think the Saints are going to have a big issue taking him away.
Voch, this is where you're wrong.
Oh, hell.
That's where you're wrong.
Because they ain't got no corners, I know. Kool-Aid McKinstry out there, Paulson and Debo, they got some kid that got all the sacks. I feel you. That's going to be tough. But, man,
Taylor. This is where you're wrong. This is where you're wrong. They're going to play that single high.
Yeah.
They're going to try and press.
Yeah.
McKinstry's going to try and get up on my guy.
Brandon Cooks going to have a good game, too, Brandon Cooks.
They're going to put him in the slot. They're going to move him around.
Yeah.
Dak's going to find him. He's going to get going. He's going to have one of those. He's going to have one of those days that he has when he plays at AT&T.
Yeah.
Where we're going to look up. It's like 12 catches.
Yeah.
I do agree with you about Parsons, but I feel like if there's no Lattimore in this game, and all of a sudden the Saints say, you know what, the only shot we had a Saints reporter on with us from the Times-Picayune today on 105.3 The Fan, and I asked him the question about how do you feel like that Dennis Allen will play, because I said, I watched your tape and all I saw was blitzing and slot blitzing and all this, and he said, listen, he says, I don't think he'll do that against Dak.
Bet not.
He goes, you're playing against Bryce Young. It's a different animal. And so he goes, I have a feeling, he goes, I don't know if it's going to be the right way to play, but he goes, I think they're going to try and get pressure with 4. And that's what they're going to do, and see if they can play coverage behind, especially since they have, some a rookie going to probably start.
Sure.
So I kind of feel like, okay, play coverage behind. You're right. They could try and take CeeDee Lamb away, but I could see him and Dak getting in a rhythm in this game.
Yeah.
I really could.
Yeah.
But I also believe that if if the Saints are compromised on their offensive line at tackle, there's a side of me because Fuaga got upgraded to questionable. It's a 50-50 whether he plays.
Sure.
Backs are a weird thing, man. But my Saints guy, he was saying if they don't play with Fuaga, he goes, he's the second best lineman we got. Mm-hmm. And if he doesn't play, he goes, that bunch is in trouble. Yeah. I think you're right about Ruiz and Penning and all that on the right side anyway. If you're missing your whole left side and you're kind of compromised on your right side with ability, that's a tough day right there. That is a really tough day right there.
If you think that and this ain't one of my questions, if you think that the Cowboys are going to have one of these days, would Trey Lance be your second quarterback and Cooper Rush being active?
Man, that's an interesting thought.
I do it.
You know what?
That dude need reps.
That dude needs reps. If you felt like, that opportunity might come. That opportunity might come. Well, okay, would it be after this one? Would it be Ravens, Giants, Pittsburgh,
Ravens,
Pittsburgh, Giants?
Yeah.
I think it would be the Giants. The Giants might be. The Giants might have already kind of packed things up. I know here we're a quarter through the season or something, but that might be the one where if you want to get him some game experience that you think about it. But yeah, I'm keeping Rush active for this one.
Obscurity. Which one of these young Dallas Cowboys skill players on offense would you like to see rise out of obscurity? Rico Dowdle or Jalen Tolbert?
Oof.
You damn right, Bryan Broaddus. You damn right. Oof. You damn right. Oof. Who's gonna rise out of obscurity? Rico Dowdle or Jalen Tolbert? Who for you? If you can wave your magic wand.
Man,
you damn right.
I need Dowdle.
Yeah.
I really do. Mm-hmm. I need him feeling good about running the football. Mm-hmm. But you said something in the previous question that made me think about taking CeeDee Lamb and them away.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's Cooks, no Ferguson. Mm-hmm. Who's the guy? Yep. This game you might need Tolbert to be big. Mm-hmm. But in the big picture, I think it's Dowdle. Yeah. I think you need it to where you hand him the ball and it's 4.5 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. That's what you need. You don't need 2.8. You need, 4.5. That's what you need from this guy. So if you can give me a young guy that I know I'm going to get it every week, give me that runner.
Man, Brian, I was watching Dolphins and Bills, man, and it's like, all right, man, when that first running back came out, the second guy came out there and started whooping them, boy. Boy, they third running back came out there and just started whooping them, Brian. I'm like, man, these teams got 3 running backs that they could just plug and play. And I'm just like, man, I was actually conflicted on this one, Brian. I actually don't have an answer for myself because I feel like we need both of them. I feel like
you do, and I think if this game, if it turns into they do take Lamb away, which I don't think they will, but if they do, you're and no Ferguson, you're going to need somebody other than Cooks to play.
Yep.
And that's going to have to be it might be, you might have to have Dowdle's ability to run to kind of, keep the chains moving, get first downs, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But on the outside, you do not, if it's just down to Cooks and nobody else, this could be a long day. That could be a long day.
And I was looking at Tolbert, man. I was like, man, if you could just be Tyler Boyd, man, you ain't got to be special, bro. You could just be the third guy that takes advantage, when CeeDee Lamb's getting doubled and Brandon Cooks got safety help over there, man. Just give me anything, Jalen Tolbert. And listen, Brian, I try to give these guys a little grace. Because the world seems to believe that the Cleveland Browns defense is not good. I beg to differ. The Browns defense, that's a tough-ass defense. Deshaun Watson just ain't good. But I'm like, man, give me something against these guys, man. Give me. You're going to run into more teams like the Saints defense than the Browns defense.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
no team got three. Not a lot of teams got three corners they can just roll out there and be great with a Myles Garrett pass rushing. Tolbert, I need him to step up in the worst way, man. But on that same token, let's just say if Ezekiel Elliott's having a bad day,
right?
Rico apparently is having a worse one.
Yeah,
he's not even better than 15 right now. You know, so I need both of them. But if I had to pick one, man, this was tough, Brian. But I guess I got to roll with Rico because he's really all we got. Yeah,
that's the big picture play.
Yeah.
Or for the next couple of weeks until you get Ferguson back, you're going to need a receiver to step up.
Yeah.
You know, and this leads me to my question I have for you.
Oh yeah.
Hunter Lipke will play a bigger role in this game than any of the Cowboys tight ends.
True. He has to. I think he has to. I think this is Mike McCarthy's time to rub his hands together like Birdman and say, "Hey, let me show y'all what I've been telling you about for the longest." Right? You know, it was gonna happen with Ryan Nall and Nick Ralston and all these other fullbacks that just come and go and all these characters. Man, we finally got a guy. Man, we got Hunter Lipke and Ferguson is down. And honestly, Brian, I would hate it if that's the case because I would love for your second round tight end to step up and do a little something, do anything.
Yeah, right.
I can understand taking a little time with the undrafted tight end. I can understand we could take a little time with you, but your second round tight end, I need you to be a little better right now, sir. So if Lipke ends up being better than those guys, I would hate it, you know. But I do think that Lipke can give you success in the run game if you hand it to him. And I think that he's going to be somewhat of a matchup problem if we use him in that way versus some of these linebackers. But we'll have to see, Bryan Broaddus. It's all up to Mike McCarthy because he'll tell us what we're trying to do, but sometimes it never happens.
Boy, you're so right about Luke Schoonmaker. This one day, I need to do a post-game show where Brad Sham and me and Wolchuk are talking, and we're talking about a positive game from Luke Schoonmaker.
Sure.
Like, man, did you notice Luke Schoonmaker today? 4 catches, 48 yards, you know, a couple of key first downs, and looked like he blocked well. We'll have to watch the tape. We'll talk about it on Monday, but you know, you need Luke Schoonmaker if they're again going to play single high safety and they're going to blitz. And to me, I kind of feel like that maybe you have an advantage. This would be a great game for Ferguson if he was healthy.
Hell yeah. Because
I don't think the Saints could cover him with their safeties. I just don't. But Schoonmaker, this would be the game, the vertical slot, Dak throwing the ball. Bro, don't let it bounce off your hands.
Yeah.
Don't let it go through your hands. You know, don't go up and secure it and then get whacked by, Tyrann Mathieu and fumble the ball. Don't do that.
Sure.
But I'd love to see him play to the level of where he was selected. And maybe that's not his fault he was taken in the second round.
Yeah.
Cowboys took him in the second round. The front office took him in the second round.
Mm-hmm.
We talked to Stephen Jones today. He's not going to say anything negative about the kid. No, he's on the path. He's on the path. And I'm like, bro, you're lying.
Yeah.
You're lying.
Yeah.
And I mean that no disrespect, Stephen. I mean that,
sure.
I'm just saying you're lying because you're not telling me the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You were expecting a lot more from this kid.
Yeah.
He's been banged up. I get it. But you honestly were expecting a lot more from him.
And honestly, Brian, you don't want Dak throwing the ball to people that he doesn't trust. That seam throw is always in such the perfect spot and is always right at the end of the extended fingertips. And he trusts Jake Ferguson to make that catch. If he doesn't trust Schoonmaker to make that catch, I don't even want Dak throwing it because those windows are like ridiculously tight and compact and condensed, man. If that bounces off his fingers, somebody else is catching it.
Right. It's coming back the other way.
Yeah.
See, and to finish up though,
sure.
I think that Hunter Lipke is going to play a big role in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think Hunter Lipke is going to point of attack blocker, move guy, throw him the ball in the waggle, maybe inline tight end, run some routes, make a play down the field, down in the red zone, hand him the ball for a first down.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of have a feeling that Hunter Lipke is going to play a big, and he might play better than what the tight ends play. That's why I asked you the question, because in my heart of hearts, I believe that he probably will outplay the tight ends.
Sure.
And you're happy to see it for him, but it creates more doubts about Schoonmaker and Spanford and Fant if he dresses, which we think he will.
Yeah. Just a quick update before I get into my next question, Bryan Broaddus. Let's see. So once again, Fuaga did not practice. Marshawn Lattimore did not practice. I think that's pretty big. I didn't even notice that Brian Breesy was here, but he's an illness guy, so he ain't really nothing like that anyway. But Tyrann Mathieu is limited, so we'll probably see him. But on our tight ends, it says John Stevens is officially out, so he's not going to come in and help you. And most of the time, when it's doubtful, you're not going to see these guys. Questionable is cool, but doubtful typically.
Stephen Jones was on with us today, and he made it sound like doubtful was doubtful.
Yeah.
For Ferguson, I was told on Wednesday it was going to be close, but to me, I was kind of like, man, if that kid plays this week, boy, what a tough SOB he is. And he's a tough guy. Yeah. But it kind of felt like to me that was a 2-week injury for sure.
Yeah. Reliability. Bryan Broaddus. Man, last week these young Cowboys played a cool game. They played a cool little game. But I would love for this young Cowboy to take the next step in reliability and play maybe a great game. Mozzie Smith, Terrence Steele. I feel like Mozzie played a cool game. Terrence Steele
Mozzie was cool.
Terrence Steele played a cool little game, but I want one of these guys to be great, Bryan Broaddus. Which one of these guys you think, or would you like to take that next step in reliability and be great?
Yeah, I'd love for Mozzie to be great. I really would. I really would love for Mozzie Smith to have the type of game where he plays more than 20 plays. And last week he was a plus player. He wasn't a negative player. He wasn't a liability. He's going to go up against a couple of guards that I think Ruiz, the run blocking is better than the pass blocking. The center's really good, in my opinion. The center can, but he is going to have to battle the center. He cannot get turned. He can't be laid off the ball. He can't give up where all of a sudden they're getting guys on the second level on him. When he battles Ruiz, he's got to be able to make sure that he holds him at the point of attack. That's Michigan on Michigan crime right there.
Yeah.
But he's got to be able to hold the point. I'd love for him to play better. I'm going to say I was pleasantly surprised of how well Steele played last week. Because I thought it was going to be Jim Schwartz is going to wear him out with pass rush, making him have to deal with pass rush the whole day. Held up fine. Sure. He really, really did. One time he gave up the sack. We all know that.
Yeah.
Grade him on the 62 plays. I would say 57 of them, he gets pluses. There were probably 4 or 5 plays where he'd like to have back. But if you told me that Mozzie Smith could be a difference maker in this game, I would take that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if Mozzie actually does anything more than just being a big body in the middle, then that makes your linebackers even better. I'll take that too. 100%. Sure.
Yeah. Voch. This Dallas defense will have a goal line stand in this game.
Man, I don't even think the Saints drive like that, man. I don't even think they get you down there, Bryan Broaddus. I think this is an opportunity for your Dallas Cowboys to go out there and dominate them Saints, man. In order for them to have a goal line stand, that would require them to drive the ball more than 50 yards, and I don't see them doing it, Brian. I don't see them doing it. They got some dudes, man. They got some very talented guys, Brian. Bro, I just don't foresee this world where it may happen once. You know what I mean? At the end of the game, coming out the third quarter, something like that. And look, I got a little respect, man, for this Saints team, but you got to have some attributes, man. You ain't finna just quick throw us to death, quick out and run us to death. If the Cowboys stop the run, they're going to stop some drives because we got corners that love to sit on these little short routes, boy. They will sit on these little short routes. So just as much as we say, hey, this Saints defense can't play this Cowboys offense like they played the Panthers offense, the Saints offense can't just quick out and run the ball all day.
Right.
They're going to have to do something special to try to get us, but I don't know how they
You think they'll try nickel and dime Dallas in this game?
I think they're going to want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the deep ball is going to be there. I don't think the deep ball is gonna be available to him. I think Mike Zimmer knows that. I think Mike Zimmer understands that if they're gonna try to defeat the Cowboys, it's gonna have to be on some goofy little big play. And look, I think they'll get a big play, Bryan Broaddus, because it's the game. It's 4 quarters.
NFL, yeah.
It's 4 quarters. They're gonna get a big play, but they ain't gonna get a ton of big plays enough to where, all right, we need to do something different. Trey Diggs getting smoked out here. You know, Kalen Carson got, you know what I mean? I think they're going to keep what they got. I don't think Derek Carr rolled out the bed elite or anything like that. And I think it comes down to tackling. I think this is a pretty solid tackling group. And I think Donovan Wilson's going to have a big game too, just in terms of coming down, tackling, and just hitting folk.
Yeah, the thing about it is it just kind of reminded me, and not that Zach Wilson or not that Derek Carr is Zach Wilson, but it kind of reminds me, it's kind of got a Jets game vibe.
Sure.
You know, where all of a sudden, didn't Wilson have a slant that went for a big, Dallas is kind of kicking their ass.
Yeah.
You know, they're just kicking their ass, and all of a sudden throw a slant, and Wilson catches it and goes and you're like, what the hell? What are you doing? That can't happen.
Not this team, Bryan, bro. I don't think they have the guys to do it. And like I said, that offense is much better than it was last year, but I don't think that's not a high bar for me. Like that bar in general is not very high for me. I 100% feel like they're not going to have that same kind of day. Please. Do
you worry about Dallas in Clint Kubiak and eye candy stuff and motion and that kind of stuff? Do you worry about that at all? Or do you think Dallas is more buttoned up with Zimmer, and this is, you've got linebackers that know how to read and they're not going to get confused, and you got you got a guy like Jordan Lewis, and you got guys that are smart that way, that they're not going to let all the eye candy bother them?
Zimmer is boogeyman for those guys. Like he's legitimately boogeyman for those dudes. But even on a further note, Bryan Broaddus, when we see these other teams do it to us, they're able to block us. Like 49ers are able to block us, or we're against like Miami or something. They can block you up front. I don't foresee. Osa could have a ridiculous day today. Another player that I'm about to mention in my next question can have a big day today. Michael Parsons can have a big day today. So if they could block us, then sure. But I don't think Michael Antoine Zimmer would like that very much.
No.
Man, Brian. Continue, Bryan Broaddus. Last week, man, we had some old men that had a surprising day, boy.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks went out there and got a couple catches with a touchdown. I said, Brian, man, DeMarcus Lawrence getting sacks again. What the hell going on? DeMarcus Lawrence then got to the quarterback a couple times. I know DeMarcus Lawrence, the pass rush ain't back. Brian, if I can have continued old man success, would it be Brandon Cooks for you or Tank Lawrence? Yeah. Continued old man success. Brandon Cooks. We need another option, Brian. Or would it be Tank Lawrence as your second guy getting 2.5 damn sacks on the day, Bryan Broaddus? Which one?
Okay, there's a side of me that when we started this journey, you and I, that I thought Lamb, Ferguson, Cooks were going to get all the targets.
Mm-hmm.
I still believe that.
Sure.
I still believe that. Man, I need Cooks. I need him to play well, though. God, I need him to play well. But this defense, if you told me that I'm going to get 9 pressures from Parsons and 8 pressures from Lawrence,
yeah.
If you're going to give me those kinds of pressures, and from those two guys, and I know that I'm going to get it every week from that guy. I'm going to get tackles for loss. I'm going to get pressures. Man, it is hard. I love Cooks, but give me Lawrence. Give me Lawrence with that. If I can get him to play like he plays every week. That defense is so much better when him and Tank and those guys. Now, the offense, look what Cooks did. Look what Cooks did, on a busted play. They mess up inside with the communication. Mm-hmm. Cooks runs a route on Thornhill, and it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, you get him down there in that red zone, that tight red zone, that son of a gun comes up with some plays. You're going to need those. But give me the old man. Give me the old man Lawrence being the guy. God, that was hard to question.
Tank Lawrence got 2 sacks, a stuff, a forced fumble, and 4 solos. If you could get, because look, we always have this worry about, damn, we're losing out on Dante Fowler and Dorrance Armstrong in the pass rush department. But that's only because we had the idea that Tank Lawrence is not a sack guy. Like Tank is clearly run game guy, but he ain't been sack guy in a while. If you can get 2 sacks from Tank Lawrence, what are you doing? What do you mean? Yeah, I know.
Do you think the same thing? Did you think the same thing? You said Tank?
I think we badly need another guy besides CeeDee Lamb catching passes.
I do too. And that's what was hard about this question was, but then, and I was thinking, well, in my mind, before the season even started, I was thinking targets are going to be Lamb, Ferguson, Cooks, and Tolbert. That kind of, I was thinking that was going to be the group, or maybe, Elliott or somebody like that. But you're right. They're gonna need one of these wide receivers to step up. Though.
Sure,
they really, really are gonna need one.
Sure, and honestly, I think Dak can make a receiver better than what he is. But 4 tackles, 2 sacks, a stuff and a forced fumble is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But
you give me that every week.
Yeah.
You give me that every week.
We're going to Gold Corral. We're going to Gold Corral.
You're going to win a lot of games. You're going to win a lot of games. You're going to win a lot of games. All right, my last one for you here. Watch. Brandon Arbery is going to have a 60-yard field goal, 60-yard plus field goal in this game.
I'm so superstitious. Watch he go for it and miss it, because that's just how life works. That's just how life as a Cowboy fan works. I think
and all of a sudden the Saints get the ball at midfield. And you're just totally MF-ing McCarthy for doing that.
That's how Cowboy life works. That's the nonsense that we go through as Cowboy fans. But I don't think Brandon Arbery will routinely miss him. You know what I mean? If Brandon Arbery can hit from 60 at 80%, I think that's a damn good go at it.
He hadn't missed in a while, right? It's crazy the number of.
It's been like the last week of the regular season or something like that. Something goofy. But Brian, I just think, we're excited about the long field goals for Arbery.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
I'm not always excited. I'm not because I look at a missed field goal as a turnover.
Yeah.
Because what they say is we're going to give you the ball right here on the Dallas 48.
Yeah.
If we miss this field goal,
make your layups is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I'm like, I mean, you give somebody the ball with only, 30 yards, 20 or whatever, and they kick a field goal, it's a turnover right there. Mm-hmm. That's a turnover. We had no turnovers today. No, you did. You had a turnover. You missed a field goal.
Sure.
That's a turnover to me. And I know there's people out there that say, oh, it's not a turnover. I'm like, yeah, it is. You give them the ball right there.
Yep.
You're saying, okay, we did not execute the field goal, so we're going to turn the ball over to you. It's like we took a snap, we fumbled, and that's where you're going to get the ball right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always lean over to Zach Wolchuk or Bobby Belt, one of those guys, when we're trying one of these 65-yard field goals. And I'm always like, I'm like, God, I wouldn't do this. Got to know the game. Got to know what's going on. And next thing you know, that kid drills it. And you're like, and then Wolchuk looks at me like, yeah, you're an idiot. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I hate giving somebody the ball at midfield. But this kid makes them. He makes them. But in this game, do you think he makes a 60-yard plus field goal in this game?
I think they're waiting for their opportunity to do it and make it make sense. And I think he can hit those, you know. So maybe not this game. I'll say no. I'll say no for this game. No. But I do think he'll be perfect on his 40s and his 50s, you know. Because look, man, once upon a time we had Maher and Jason Garrett have Maher kicking 50s, but he'll miss all the damn 20s and 30s.
33-yard field goal.
Yeah, but then we have Forbath to where he make all the 20s and 30s, but he can't kick past 40. You know what I mean? So I'm just happy that Brandon Aubrey is a guy that can do all kicking things, and we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Bryan Broaddus, what a phenomenal show. Just us coming together, asking questions and answering them, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. You had some great questions, man. I think the toughest one was the old man question.
Mm-hmm.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but the thing about your questions was, and if I could just go back and talk about it.
Please.
The things that made your questions interesting, it was really kind of the one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
One, you know, and because you really need both to happen.
Yeah.
You don't, I mean, you can't, you know, you couldn't just clearly say this, you know, it was, no, I need this and this. And, you know, if you get both those things to happen, you're going to find ways to clearly win this football game.
You know,
I think they will.
You know, it's almost like this fantasy world where both happens. You know, like most teams get one of those, right? But all the best teams, they get multiples of those. All the if you look at the Eagles, they go out there and win their games. Hey, AJ Brown and Saquon Barkley go off. You know, and I think for the Cowboys to take it to the next level, I think D-Law needs to have 2 sacks and Brandon Cooks get a touchdown.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Yeah. You're right about that.
Hey, Bryan Broaddus, I appreciate you for tapping in, sir. I appreciate you for having phenomenal questions. Y'all be sure to follow me on my social medias, VOCHLOMBARDI. And please, sir, please.
Yeah, I was going to say, you and I got a post game after the post game this Sunday.
Yes, sir. We actually have a post game show after the post game show. We're not doing that tomorrow, but there was such an interest for what we do, Bryan Broaddus. So I'm gonna do the post game show with DLLS and all that. Then I'm gonna come home and tap in with Onk here, with Sensei here, with Grandpa here, and we're gonna do another post game show. And it's gonna be a different vibe, man. That's what we do. Every show is different. So I'll tap in with you. You got a 3-hour show, so if the game is
so I'll see you. I'll
6
see you,
or so, around 6 or 7.
I'll see you after. I'll see you about 7 o'clock. How about that?
7 o'clock. We'll have a We Doing All Right post game show around 7, but the party gonna start around like 5:30. So y'all be sure to tap in with us. And y'all follow Bryan at BRY getting Broaddus on social media. Y'all hold it down until next time. We love y'all, man. Crown.